Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Liberty Lee, who lives here, and I am so happy. I'm so happy. I have some exciting news for you. But before we get into this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I post every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Thanks for 34 subscribers. Please get me to 1K subscribers. Turn on your post notifications, and let's get right into the video. So, this week in history, I've been learning about 9/11 because Sunday is the 21st anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, terrorist attacks. And in honor of that, I took my very first test ever on 9/11. I've taken tests in my school career before, but this is my first test I've taken on 9/11. I've never taken a test on 9/11 before. So, I've learned about a little bit about 9/11 all throughout my school career. I just never really understood what it was. But yeah, so I'm happy to announce I got 100 on today's open note quiz in history class, and I'm just so proud of myself. So, if you don't know what 9/11 was, 9/11, September 11, 2001, it was a Tuesday morning. Everybody in the United States was in school. George W. Bush was in Florida, and I'm not going to tell you the whole gist of it, but I'm going to tell you it was just basically mainly attacks on the North and South Tower in Manhattan, also called the World Trade Center and the Twin Towers, and an attack. They crashed into a plane. They crashed a plane in Washington D.C. into the Twin Towers, not in Washington D.C., in a field in Pennsylvania, and in the Pentagon in Pennsylvania. Now, nobody knew it was going to happen. The President Bush was surprised. He was like, I can't believe it. And he even addressed the nation that evening after it happened. But, yeah. So basically, I'm just going to go over what my test was like. And my vocab words, I'm just going to tell you guys how I did. So, alright, so fill in the blank with the missing vocab word, which is the first part of my test. Okay, the place where the attacks occurred in the NYC, which stands for New York City, World Trade Center. I've never been to New York City, but I want to go to 9/11 Memorial, and I want to go to New York City, and I also want to go to other places in the city. It's Ground Zero. The reason why it's called Ground Zero is because nothing's there except for a memorial. There's like a memorial all around around where the North and the South Tower was, near where they fell, in the exact place where they fell. And there's a new World Trade Center, where there's businesses and I think a restaurant, and there's an elevator that shows the timeline all the way from the 1500s to present day. Like there's a screen in the elevator doors. It's really cool. And it turns on every time somebody enters the elevator. That's what my history teacher told me. My 10th grade history teacher, who I'll also have in 12th grade. Now, the history teacher I had last year, I'll also have next year when I'm a junior in high school. So, Ground Zero, the place where the attacks occurred in NYC World Trade Centers. To take over by force, hijack. So, a hijacker, if you don't know, a hijacker is different from a terrorist. A hijacker is somebody who, how do I explain what a hijacker is? A hijacker is somebody who takes over a plane by force. Like, the hijackers were the people who, there's this theory that they killed. I don't know if it's a theory, but in my opinion, it's a theory or something. There's this version of the 9/11 story, as it's been told for almost 21 years now. Sunday will be 21 years since the attacks happened. The 21st anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. There's this story that all the hijackers, mainly the ones that crashed the plane to the Twin Towers in New York City, they hurt the pilots. They rushed in, and then they flew the planes into the towers. Now, I don't know. Nobody actually knows if the pilots were killed or if they were killed after they crashed. But either way, the pilots didn't have control over the plane anymore. They just rushed in, and then and basically all over the whole world and all over the whole United States, the TV was on, and it showed what had happened. That they were flying some very bad people in there. and I have some very interesting stories after I finish this. Okay. A person who is admired for bravery or a great deed or for looking out for others. Hero. Devotion, love, support, and defense of one's country, national loyalty, patriotism. A person who uses violence or threats to create fear. That's a terrorist. That's a terrorist. That's the difference between a hijacker and a terrorist. To take over by force is a hijacker because they have all these weapons. But a terrorist is they want to make you afraid, and a hijacker is just like, they don't care. They'll use any force they can to get to what they want to do that's bad. Hijackers and terrorists are both bad. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, they're all bad groups. Now, if you're a family member of somebody who's in the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, or ISIS, I am sorry that I'm saying this. It's just my perspective because I'm an American. I mean, my nationality is Irish, but I'm an American, so it's my point of view. Alright, multiple choice, part 2. Who was the leader of Al-Qaeda and led the attacks on 9/11? A. Saddam Hussein, B. Osama bin Laden, C. ISIS, or D. hijackers? And the answer is B. Osama bin Laden. Okay, now here comes my interesting story. In 1998, about 2 years before the attacks on the Twin Towers, the field in Pennsylvania, and the Pentagon, Washington, D.C., John Miller, a news reporter, I forget for what channel he was. I saw this on YouTube a couple days ago. He actually, John Miller, the newscaster or news reporter, whatever he does, he interviewed Osama in 1998, the 2 years before, or no, 3 years before the attacks were going to happen. And because 8 and 3 is 11, so that would make sense. 898 plus 3 is 01, so that would make sense. But yeah, and Osama was speaking in another language that they speak in Afghanistan, but he's from Saudi Arabia, but he moved to Afghanistan, so he's like an immigrant there to Afghanistan, but he's dead now because he got killed on May of 2011 by Navy SEALs. But anyway, what happened was John Miller was interviewing Osama bin Laden, or however you say his last name. And John Miller asked about, like, I forget what he asked about, but he asked something related to, like, Al-Qaeda, because Osama was the leader of it. Al-Qaeda's still around, but it's not as powerful because Osama's not there anymore. There's a different leader, but if Osama were still alive, he'd probably still be the leader of it. Anyway, back to my story. What else Osama said in whatever language he was speaking. He's speaking some foreign language out in that area of the world. And he actually told John Miller in his foreign language, about the attacks on the World Trade Centers, about the 9/11. So John Miller knew, but it wasn't until he got a translator to translate it for him, and the translator told him that that's what he was saying, was he was going to attack the World Trade Center. So John Miller knew it was going to happen, but for the rest of America and for the rest of the world, we didn't know. Except for Al-Qaeda and the people in Saudi Arabia and maybe Syria, but Afghanistan. So those people. The native languages, there are 2 native languages of Afghanistan, because I've learned this in history and from my grandparents and from the Amazon Alexa. Don't want to say her name too loud because she'll turn on. But it's the 2 native languages of Afghanistan are Pashto and Dari, as in Darius, as in the shortened version of a boy whose name is Darius. But those are the native languages. Now, if I went to Afghanistan, I would need a translator because I don't understand those languages. I don't even know a word in those languages. But yeah. So that's the story. Right back to this. Number 7. What was the name of the terrorist organization formed and formerly headed by Osama bin Laden? A. ISIS, B. the Taliban, C. Al-Qaeda, or D. Osama bin Laden's terrorist group? It was C. Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is AL/QAEDA. So that's how you spell Al-Qaeda. And look, Al-Qaeda. Right here. Al-Qaeda. That's how you spell it. If you ever need to spell Al Qaeda because you're taking a test on 9/11, that's how you spell it. All right. And remember the dash. It doesn't matter if it's capitalized or lowercase, as long as you spell it right, and as long as you have the dash, you'll get credit. Okay. What city did both planes that hit the World Trade Centers leave from, and where were they supposed to be headed? Meaning, what airport did they leave from, and where were they supposed to be headed? Okay. They were headed from my home state of Massachusetts. My state capital of Massachusetts is Boston. They were headed from Boston's Logan Airport. A, left from NYC headed for Los Angeles. B, left from Los Angeles headed for Boston. C, left from Boston headed for Dallas. Or D, left from Boston headed for Los Angeles. The correct answer is D. They left for Boston. They were headed for Los Angeles, which means LAX. I don't know why they call the airport that, but that's what it's called. Who was the president at the time of the 9/11 attacks? Hint, hint. He was also 07 when I was born. Yes. Or he may not have been. May just been the president the year I was born. Who was the president at the time of the 9/11 attacks? A, George W. Bush. B, Barack Obama. C, Donald Trump. Or D, Bill Clinton. And it's George W. Bush. And I remember that because he was president in 07, the year I was born. I don't know if he was March 7th, 2007, but I know he was in 07. So that's how I can remember that, because he was the president the year I was born. The year of my birth, meaning not in the exact day I was born, but somewhere around there. All right. Okay, number 10. How many innocent people lost their lives on September 11th? A, 1,000, B, 3,000, C, 5,000, or D, 10,000? It is B, 3,000. Okay. For the plane where the passengers fought back against the hijackers, it crashed into what location? A, World Trade Centers, B, the Pentagon, C, field in Pennsylvania, or D, White House? C, the field in Pennsylvania. 12. What is one of the precautions America took to prevent future attacks? A, people had to follow stricter rules while traveling. B, Immigration and Border Control came into the spotlight. C, government officials created the Department of Homeland Security, aka the TSA, the Transportation Security I don't know what the A stands for, but Transportation Security is all I can remember. But it's a TSA, meaning the Homeland Security is I think it's the same thing as the TSA, I'm not sure though. And then D, all the above. The answer is D, all the above, which means all the things she just listed. That when you have a test that there's all the answers and and you know it's D and it says all the above just means like it's all the things that the teacher just mentioned, but you can't circle one of them or all of them. You just have to circle D, all the above, because that sums it up what the answer is, if that makes sense. What did President Bush declare on September 11th be known as? A, 9/11 Memorial Day. B, Patriots Day with an apostrophe S, Patriots Day. Not Patriots Day as in the Massachusetts holiday that started the American Revolution. Not that. That's a totally different day that happened in April. This is September 11th. C, Remembrance Day, or D, World Trade Center Day. B, Patriots Day with an apostrophe S. Patriot apostrophe S Day. You might be thinking, Liz, Patriots Day is your favorite holiday, is your favorite Massachusetts holiday because it happened April 1970-75. No, that's not the Patriots Day I was referring to, but you're right about that is called Patriots Day. But this is Patriots Day, meaning it's not referred to as what started the American Revolution. It started to as what what they remember 9/11 as nowadays. Okay. All right, number 14. How many planes were hijacked all together? A2, B3, C4, or D5? The answer is 4. There was one in each World Trade Center, or each Twin Tower, the third one in the Pentagon, and then the field in Pennsylvania. That's the fourth one. All of them were hijacked. And fun fact, there were 19 hijackers that planned to do this. But they didn't plan it. Osama bin Laden told them to, because Osama bin Laden at the time was the leader of Al Qaeda. So that's why he told them to do that. And I figured out one of the reasons why 9/11 happened. It was because Al Qaeda and Osama bin Laden believed that anybody who went against their religious beliefs, because I don't think they're Christian. I'm Christian, but any person who went against their religious beliefs would get killed for it because they didn't agree. And that's why, and it also showed terrorism and that they were trying to take over the world or take over New York. but they didn't let them. Another scary thing, I don't remember this because I was born until '07, but what I do remember was when I was in kindergarten in April of 2013 or May of 2013, I was 6 years old, and I do remember the Boston Marathon bombing, and that was very scary. I heard about it on the news that day, so, sorry. Alright. 15. Oh, my age. What government building right outside Washington, D.C. did one of the planes hit? Fun fact, I've been to Washington, D.C. A, the Pentagon, B, the White House, C, the Washington Monument, D, the Lincoln Memorial. Well, they wanted it to hit the White House, but it didn't. Hit the Pentagon instead. It was A, the Pentagon. Penta means 5, so the Pentagon has 5 sides. It's also another government building in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is not too far from D.C., so that's... What was built at each site of the plane crashes for people to visit and pay their respects? A, large museums. B, memorials which are different at each of the sites. C, statues of each of the victims. D, a long bridge with their names engraved on the sides. B, memorials which are different at each of the sites. Now it's part 3, which is short answers, which are 17 and 18. Answer each question in complete sentences. How do you think people felt while watching the terrorist attacks live on television? Why do you believe they felt that way? For 17. And I said, I think people felt terrified while watching the terrorist attacks on live TV because they were scared for the victims affected by the horrible tragedy. 18. This is also an open response. What is one way that America has changed since the attacks on 9/11? Think back to our Edpuzzle question. Edpuzzle is like a video where every time there's a question they stop, whether it's open-ended or open response or multiple choice. If it's multiple choice, it'll show you, once you hit the submit button for the question, it'll show you, it'll say green for you got it right, or red for you got it wrong, or yellow for you got one right and one wrong. Alright, one way America has changed since 9/11 is we have Homeland Security, which before 9/11, okay, so that's all, that's how I did my test. I got a 100. Now, before, I don't need to go on and on about this, but this is the weekend that it's, Sunday's 21st anniversary. I am going to do a little something for 9/11 on Sunday, so stay tuned for that. But before I end this video, they did have Homeland Security before 9/11, and the security's gotten better because after 9/11 happened, they shut down like flights for like 10 days or like 2 weeks or something. But they shut down flights for like at least 10 days because they didn't know if it was going to happen again. The first time the plane hit the World Trade Center, the North Tower, like whatever time it was, people thought the pilots like passed out or something, but they didn't. Little did they know it was a terrorist attack. But yeah, people thought, and the reason why the people were let on the planes was because there was security back then, but they didn't have as good as technology as we have now. That's the reason why people are living longer, and people are, they can catch these things. If you have sharp objects, they can remove them before you get on the flight, because you're not supposed to have box cutters or knives or weapons or cigarettes or anything. Cigarettes aren't weapons, but you still shouldn't use them on planes or anywhere. But if you do it, you do it. I'm not going to judge. But I'm just saying, that's the reason why we have security now. So if you have a weapon in your bag, they'll take it out and they won't let you get on the plane unless you throw it out. The reason why they won't let you bring weapons on plane is because of the better security. Now, in September 11, 2001, or for the whole year of 2001, they didn't have the security that we have now. They didn't know that they didn't know they were hijackers. They thought they were normal people. They bought a plane ticket just like you or I to Los Angeles or to Boston or to Texas or wherever. They didn't know. They didn't know they were hijackers. They thought they were normal people just getting on a flight to fly somewhere. Little did they know it was a terrorist attack. They didn't find that out till the night that it happened. The night of the day that it happened. That night. But thanks for watching, and I also have one more announcement. If you subscribe to me and you're from the UK and you're from the royal family, rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. I heard about the death, and I'm so sorry for your guys' loss. But that's going to close out for today's video. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, subscribe. Actually, I have a challenge for you guys. Subscribe where you were, if you were around the day of September 11, 2001 and where you were. Subscribe where you were, what happened, and how you heard about it. Or subscribe how old you are and how you've learned about it. But either way, subscribe, turn on post notifications, like it up. New videos every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Thanks for 34 subscribers. Please get me to 1K subscribers, and I'll see you on Sunday for the 9/11 special of the 21st anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Peace. I love you guys.